Okay.
Hi, Morven.
Morning.
Um, so we've decided to go in for another recording. Ad hoc, we didn't plan this. We are catching up with each other and thought that some of you might be interested in what's been happening since the last video that we did together. So Morv, how have you been? First and foremost, how have you been?
Oh God, Colin, thanks for asking. How have I been? As opposed to facts, figures, da 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 does, da 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 does. Um, when we last spoke together, it was a really huge, visceral, cathartic experience for real. I felt absolutely shattered after it and very vulnerable and very upset. And I had to just really, like not tidy that away, like just being soft, gentle with myself. Passed out on the sofa for about, I don't know how many hours, but a long time, with the relief and the release of it all, you know. Um, that's what's been going on for me. And then I found myself feeling like really light and relieved that I had unburdened myself and not had to carry around all the stuff that I'm upset about, that I can't speak to people about, that I've just started speaking about out loud. I think this is the whole key thing for me. It's like when we have experiences, and we've all had them from childhood, there's a feeling that you have to keep it all inside and deal with it alone and process it or journal it, burn it. What about the sacredness and the power of the human voice
Yeah.
in presence with another? So that felt really, I said to you, Karleen, like this is the first time I felt like that really happened in this incarnation at the age of 54, that a friend is just holding space and not tidying it away or reperspectivizing and saying, here's your course of healing that needs to happen. It's just like, I'm literally, you're literally listening and in presence listening. So that was major. Thank you. And since we spoke together with the feeling of claiming own soul's voice, regardless of what anyone else is doing, a huge amount of people have reached out to me to say thanks for doing that. They've got a backlog of experiences on this planet of these kind of dynamics and sort of inserted ideologies and thoughts that they know haven't come from themselves, that it was not birthing within, and also related to, the particular experience that I was speaking about via OG LLC. So there's been lots of movement since I've spoken. Of course, there are people annoyed, like how fucking dare she kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, how dare she claim her own experience and her own voice and speak up in a time when, in 2020, that's what we were all doing already, and saying that we've been told a story of a killer plague. They've put us all under house arrest. We've got a lockdown planet. Lives are being ruined. People are dying. People are being jabbed. Da 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 da. Everyone was making out they were supporting the sovereign soul voice, which is the soul that says, I know what's going on. I will speak and stand up for myself, for my soul, for humanity, for the next generation. Because to have things going on behind closed doors or narratives given to us and expect that we will just lie down and take it without bringing our voices out with questions and knowings. This was the whole vibe in 2020. But what has happened since then is there's a lot of policing going on, voice policing, thought policing. Like, you're not a big wig. Why are you bringing your voice out? Why are you sharing your personal experience about anything that's happened on this planet to you, or that you've noticed happening to everyone for decades, you know?
Yep.
Complete thought policing, voice policing, you're not allowed to say. Or if you do, you're wrong, because the bigger wig on the stage is the right one. You're a no one, so shush. So, you know, that is real. That is what's going on this planet over and over and over again, and all the rest of it. You know, the cult of the expert, whoever that programming is going to be applied to. That one's more expert, that one's more advanced, that one's more coherent, that one's more blah, blah, that one's more powerful. But everyone's voice needs to matter, is how I feel it. Like, for real, not as a slogan.
I agree with you, but how do you know that your voice is your own? That's the one of the questions, or that I would put out there to anybody. How do you know that your voice is your own if you haven't claimed it, or you're looking to anybody other than yourself
Yeah,
for that inner knowing?
yeah.
I'm sure that like people that I work with and students that I've worked with, to get them into this state of being, are
Yeah.
pretty pissed off with me with this slogan, and I'm going to use it because it's mine.
Yeah.
That as a sovereign soul, you know everything there is to know about you, about yourself. All it takes is your internal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So where did our trust go,
Mm-hmm.
right, in our own divine connection with ourselves, to enable anyone else's opinion to overtake ours?
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking at that, you know, where have we been programmed?
Yeah.
Where has our voice been silenced because we have gone against ourselves in our inner knowing to
Mm-hmm.
follow somebody else's way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I do know, Karleen. That's so well said. And I had an email from someone last night that said the same message, but with different words, because obviously that's a different soul with their own subtleties of melody and harmony saying it, which is, she said something like, and I'm going to paraphrase a bit, I have repeatedly overridden my own boundaries and allowed myself to follow someone else's translation of who we are individually and all the rest of it, you know. So,
Which no one else can know. Like
which,
this whole thing of like, oh yes, well, I know everything about humanity. Well, no, actually you don't. You know from your perspective, but you can't. It's like, because we are so individual and because we all have our own perspectives, no one can tell us that, because nobody actually knows. Anyone else is just viewing from the outside. This is
mm-hmm,
my opinion of, this is my perception of, you
mm,
know, you can't do that. You just can't. It just doesn't, it doesn't work, which is maybe why we're in the trouble that we are,
yeah,
because
yeah.
everyone's looking for somebody else to validate them.
I mean, absolutely so. I mean, I I feel it, you know, as I've said before, like, I felt from childhood, I know there's something very wrong here. Trauma, torture, abuse, sadness, grief, overwhelm is the feeling that my felt sense is picking up on. Now, what is it that's going on? But from the moment of birth, from childhood, there are humans around you giving you labels or descriptions about who you are and also what you're supposed to do. You must
Yeah.
obey this, you must obey that. These are the customs and traditions on planet Earth, we're told. You know, you don't back chat, you don't answer back. You try to express a feeling, you're told you don't feel like that, you feel like this. You don't think that, you think this. So this programming is happening from the very moment of incarnation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
we hear those words, don't we? Like, I know I heard these words like someone's been programmed, and of course I'm just glossing aside, like, who's that? Who's been programmed? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Maybe 100%. Everyone?
Yeah. 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 And pulling ourselves out of that, you know, being able to actually go, who am I really?
Yeah,
Who am I? What am I here for?
yeah.
How long's my term?
How long's my term? Life, life.
Yeah.
Imprisonment.
Yep.
Imprisonment? What? This is anything but living, you know?
Yeah, we're all in survival mode.
Yeah,
we're
from
all
the
we're all in survival mode.
yeah,
Because we don't know how else to be, I think. You know, and I think we're coming kind of out of that. To be honest, I think we're coming out of that because we're looking at the programming.
I think we're beginning to, yeah. I mean, actually, this is quite exciting, Karleen, because I am noticing this as well. That I don't want to hang out on tech, you know, I didn't want anything to do with tech and computers. But whether this has been intentional or not, I don't know. There are literally thousands of people all around the world speaking out about this sort of thing. Have we been programmed? What's happened to children and man, woman, and child on this planet? What has happened? You know, there's a really big energy behind that theme. What has happened to us? How did it happen? Who has done it? Why are people being silenced? Why are people being threatened? What is going on? So yeah, I think we are at the beginning of something massive about looking at programming.
Yeah. I'm realizing that it's not just one group or another.
Yeah,
Right. It's insidious. This is the life that we have been born into, is
yeah,
this constant programming. You know, even with the voice thing, this is something that came up for me the other day, is that like you, I'm actually quite direct generally to say stuff, you know. But often, even now, you know, people will go, "Oh, you can't say that.
I know.
You can't say that. Why can't I say that? Because that's the truth that I'm seeing in that moment. Why am I not allowed to say that? Well, because you just either you just can't, or it's unkind, or this thing of like lying,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
right? Because it's not how you truly feel in that moment. So all of us are bullshitting,
yeah,
basically, right? We're all bullshitting each other because we don't say it how it is, and we don't confront, we hide,
mm,
right?
yeah,
Because it's not allowed. You can't do upfront, honest communication, and then we wonder why we don't trust anybody,
yeah.
or
Or
who do.
ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. You know, or ourselves. Yeah,
It's
because we're all too busy trying to fit in
yeah,
to be cookie cutters of each other, and there isn't one. There's no cookie cutter design. We're not all one, and we are
yeah,
not all the same. We're individual, unique beings for a fucking good reason.
yeah. Well
Because
said.
if it was just, if we are all one, right, there would be only one of us doing all of the work, right? And there isn't. There are millions, billions of us. So look at all those perspectives that we need
Yeah,
to see the whole picture.
Absolutely so, Karleen. Everything you just said there, I feel like I want to bed into it a bit deeper. Because even over the last 4 years of truth loving, truth hunting beings that we are, like, what is going on? Why don't we know? Why is it a complete psychological mess? Every time I've tried to bring my voice out, and it's not just that, let me rephrase it. I haven't tried to bring my voice out. I have achieved bringing my voice out. I have brought my voice out. And I had to hold myself through it. And I, like, it's going to have to be the good, bad, and the ugly. It's just got to come out, warts and all. Without fail, someone has come in to tell me how to say it differently. It is not my job to say my voice differently. It is not my job to do that. Whoever's receiving what I'm saying, the power is there, which is translate what I'm saying. Your soul can translate what I'm saying, and it doesn't need to agree with what I'm saying. But it may well activate your cosmic music within, where it's like, hey, and there's something that needs to come out. So that's why I feel we're so important to one another. Because it's not a library of truth sitting in here. Here's the documents, study this, PhD in truth. Oh shit, I died. It's what's inside and what we've lived for real. We are the human experts of what we've lived. And we do need each other for that.
Yeah, because it gives us a wider view. What is your experience? There's something else that I'm sure people that know me and have worked with me before get sick of, which is people often come to somebody else to go, well, I'm speaking from my own personal experience, come to me to go, well, how do you do this then? And I will turn around and go, I don't know. How do you? How do you do that? How am I supposed to know how you do something? But it's a question that most people have never been asked. It is a question that most people have never been asked. How do you do that? Because they're so busy trying to find answers outside rather than questioning in self, No one else has your answers.
This is perfect. But I'm going to share my life experience of questioning myself since I was a toddler, for God's sake. Wondering why everyone was treating me like I didn't know anything when I already knew loads. So this has been a lifelong inner questioning. And I'm not talking about the fake programming called shadow work, which that's not real for me. That's not true. Feel free, everyone else, but that I do not contain shadow. I do not need to do shadow work. I have been interviewing my soul from childhood to find out what the actual hell is going on here and seeing if I could find the answers from within, which is a very cliched phrase now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much ideology. But when I went in, Karleen, this is the bit that's important about the programming. When I went in, all I could find was, not all I could find, but there was additional architecture built around my voice. So I was having to sort of like, it's like, my God, it's like sifting through dirt. It's like, talk about the wheat and the chaff. It's like that. It's like, hang on, this is someone, right? That's a mother's voice. That's someone else's voice. These are other people's voices. These are other people's ideas. These are instructions on how to be when you do anything, when you eat your food, when you go to the toilet, when you're playing your violin, when you're communicating with a loved one, or like, tone it down a bit, love, tone it down, too intense. It's like, yeah, I'm intense, all right, because I'm being crushed, So it's like, there's all this programming in there telling me what to do so that I couldn't get to the core voice of knowing. And we're talking about tones, frequency, soul knowing, what I call sacred music.
Right. And that is the bit that when I say you know everything there is to know about you, that's the part of you I'm talking about, not the layer upon layer of false perception of self.
Well said.
The essence of who you are as a being knows.
Yeah. Sorry, Karleen.
Go on.
Sorry to jump in. Just got
Go
very
on.
excited. This is really interesting as well, because it's like I've spent my whole life feeling the benevolence of my own nature. It lives. I feel like I'm ancient. I feel I know myself really well. I'm not a child that needed programming. I know myself really well. I can feel it. I can feel my nature. I'm living my nature. So why am I being re-educated and indoctrinated with other ideas of who I am, with labels? You know, you're an awakening starseed. It's like, take your labels off me, please. It's not about objectifying in a petri dish. Like, let me see what you are. You are a... No, I can feel who I am. It doesn't have a noun. It is a living experience. So I'm really disturbed by all this, the nouns that keep coming on, the objectifying of who we are.
Yep. Yeah. There's a really good technique. I'm not going to go into it, but there is a really good technique for that, to get out of the labeling.
Yeah.
Like, and how things actually have a different feel when you put different labels on.
Yeah.
But that again has come through self-inquiry.
Yeah.
You know, and I get the not self voice as well. For me, it comes in with not my feeling, not my thinking, because the thought programs that are running into, well, is that actually a thinking of mine? Did that originate in me? Or is that something that is trying to insert itself into my head to make me create a particular outcome? And that is where, for me, the programming comes in. Right? Because it's the emotion and thinking generator. That's how we are, right? We're the ones generating all of the internal workings. It's when external tries to provoke a thought pattern, yeah, or a emotion. And how do you come into sovereignty knowing that we are being bombarded every day?
Yeah. And since we incarnated.
Yeah.
Exactly so.
So let's get rid of that, shall we?
Yeah, let's
get rid of that all unself program.
Yes, yeah.
And stop lying as well. I think that's another thing of like everyone's, I don't know, other people are sorted out that thing of like, I know exactly how things work. I know exactly what's going on. No, none of us actually have the full picture. I don't believe it. I think we're still working it out.
Yeah, I feel it like that as well, Colleen. I'm glad you just said that out loud. I don't think everyone has the full picture, but the programming is to present yourself, to act it out and perform falsely that you've got the full picture, that you're just on your path, but you know, it's all philosophy, which is flying in the face of lived experience.
Yep.
I'm absolutely done with the philosophizing and the conceptualizing and the ideologies that do not match lived experience.
Yeah.
So that's what we mean by programming, I hope, as well. You know, it's like,
yep,
you know, we just want to share a life experience thing of this as my example. When I'm not going to go into the specifics, but somebody really, really fucking hurt me the last 4 years. A friend, right? They lied to me knowingly for whatever reasons. What do you think my response was? My immediate response was understanding, forgiveness. That's okay, everyone. How is this my fault? Please, I think it's something I did wrong. You felt you couldn't come to me to say what? Okay, so I'm running that bullshit on myself for several weeks until I finally, my soul couldn't take it anymore and it broke down on the kitchen floor and howled and sobbed, "You hurt me." I have never said to someone, "You hurt me." Because you're not allowed to on this planet because it's called victim consciousness. But my soul is discerning correctly that if things are going on behind my back that I should be a party to so I can make sovereign soul choices, that does hurt a sovereign soul. Whether we've done it ourselves or someone else has done it, or it's a giant big mess where we keep doing it. This turned a corner for me and my friend Karleen, because they did not realize I was hurting and thought that I was some amazingly tough warrior soul that could take any old shit from anyone. Whereas it's like, no, I'm showing you the hedgehog without the prickles now. I'm in agony for decades now because I don't get what the hell is going on with the BS and the lying that everyone's doing to themselves, to other people, and not because we are bad humans, but because there seems to have been some sort of weird ideologies poked in our heads that fly in the face of what we know and what we want.
Yep. Absolutely agree. So one of the things that we were talking about before was the remedy.
Yeah.
What the hell do we do? What do we do about it? Like, you know, I've also had people coming to me that have had similar experience to you, maybe not quite as in depth, like quite in as entrenched. But they're also now going, I did that. I did the listening in the background. I did the falling asleep to that. How do we assist people, one, with knowing what the programming has been, and how to get out of it?
Yeah.
How do you recognize it? I mean, from my perspective with you, it was quite easy to pick up on it.
Yeah.
Because of how, you know, the intonation of my voice changing how that made you react.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it yourself, what was it in you that went, fuck, I've got programming? What was it? Do you know what the trigger was for you? I'm just trying to kind of think around how we can kind of help people to really question or take a look at themselves.
There was not one sort of moment where I went, oh, like there's programming, because I didn't even know there was programming. That's the that's the cunningness of it.
Or what was it that made you want to investigate further into, like, I don't understand what quite what was going on with me or with the people that are around me? What made you kind of question that?
Yeah, what made me question was like, I can already feel a program trying to tell me like I might not say this the right way. Okay, so let's just put that out there. Let's just bring it all in. Because in 2020, I felt like I knew what this time is about. Let's get on with it. Like what I call the liberation era. But what I found that over the last 4 years is it feels like there's been a giant stalemate and there's nothing going on except for people lying around. Just sort of like almost like just talking about nothing, just talking about new ideologies. And it was getting more and more frustrating. So what I'm trying to say is it was easier for me to see in other people than it was in myself,
Yeah.
right? So in a way, it was like I've always been interviewing my own soul from childhood anyway. So there was still a part of me saying, there's something wrong, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. This is not your voice. And of course, the programming was coming and going, well, that's okay. So it was a mess, Karleen. And I don't know. I just felt right. This has happened too many times. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? I'm going to actually do some rooting around in mind control, cult dynamics, thought reform, MK Ultra. I'm going to actually do this, take this seriously. I don't have to believe in it,
Yeah.
that it happens or it doesn't, but I'm going to go and allow my soul to look at stuff and let it settle with self-trust that it would settle and I could sort out what was needed and what wasn't, but it put me into PTSD even bloody looking at that stuff because it was like, hang on, I'm being told that that's happening somewhere else. I think I've lived this already from childhood,
Yeah.
not just this latest experience.
Yeah.
And once some of the stuff I've been speaking out about, people have been contacting me directly saying, I feel drained. My life force has completely gone. My life is over and ruined and trashed. I can't find my voice. I've lost my home. I've lost my livelihood. I've lost my ability to think. I've lost the ability to hear my thinking. And there's so that the story when people are coming to me say, thank fuck you spoke out, the messages I'm getting from them is my life force is drained. I'm depressed. I'm frozen. I can't move. I feel like an infant. I'm doing nothing.
That's hard to hear, huh? That's hard to hear.
And it has been expressed to me several times that people want to bring their voice out in a safe held space as equals so we can hear one another.
So, as both of you and I are kind of solutionists, I feel to some extent, it's like, well, there's an issue. What can we do to assist
Yeah.
others to do that? We are going to be running a safe space for people to work on themselves, to bring themselves into the space where they're held, to express their experience, to express what they feel they need to in their own voice, from their own perspectives, to enable soul directed sovereignty. Your soul directing your sovereignty. And that's going to start on Sunday, the 10th of March at 6 p.m. We'll put a Zoom link for anybody that wants to join. Yeah, anything you want to say about that?
Where will this Zoom link be, Karleen?
So we'll put a Zoom link in the video. So when we put the video out, I'll add the Zoom link so that anybody can hit the Zoom button if they want to join.
Brilliant. Yeah, there is something I want to say, because when my soul started pushing the programming out in 2020, even though more programming has been coming in, and not just from the space that I'm talking about, from everywhere. Yeah. It's like full on. So, you know, what my soul said to me was the space of the no taboo. This is the space that we can co-create and birth together as equal souls. This is not about false power hierarchy where we've got a healer and a sound healer or whatever other labels. This is not that. This is not anyone coming in to tell anyone else how to heal from anything. This is about getting into a sacred auditorium that we co-birth together and create. Not just me and Karleen, like whoever is wishing to bring their sacred cosmic being with this enormity that we demand for ourselves. If that is resonant to someone else, you know, that we are gifting ourselves. We want to express and experience the precious wealth of our own being, even if there's programming in there. It's going to come out. It will come out. You know, my human soma sounding that birthed in me is a way I get my programming out, just one of the ways, you know. And this is the thing, we probably have loads of ways we can share all together, like whoever it is that turns up.
Yep, absolutely. Because there'll be like, I found over the years that, like, even with techniques, I give them as a template always, so that people can go off and go, well, that one doesn't work for me. Well, fucking change it then. Modify it. Make this thing work in the way that you need it to for you. You know, it's not about, oh my God, it's my work and it's my way of doing things. No, change it, modify it, take what you need from any way of doing something if it's going to help you to find your way. Do you know what I mean? It's like a lot of people don't even have a clue or an idea of, well, you're asking me to find myself in amongst all of the other bullshit and the programming and everything else. Well, I have no clue how to do that.
Yeah.
So we're all there helping each other to do that.
Absolutely, as equals. There's no one being the teacher or the voice box or the voice on behalf of others or the instructor giver. I mean, what you said, you know, I'll put it into my language for me now, you know, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You know, when I was, when I'm playing my violin, and it's so long ago I started, you know, at 5, I don't recall it. But it was like, I was determined to find out how to make the sounds on my own. It was like, get off, you know. You know, it's like, the beauty of it is loads of ugliness, ugly sounds, tuning can come out, but who's to say what's ugly and what isn't? It's all the sacred work. It's all meaningful, you know, and it's like, when we try something and it quote unquote doesn't work, well, that's great, because that's still sacred info for us, which is like, I don't work like that. I can't do all this thinking. I have to do, you know, like some of my human soma soundings with people are just so much, I was going to use the word fun. I mean, they're fun, but they feel really sacred, because it's, you don't have to use words and concepts. You can just make the primal soul sounds that need to come out in a moment, in a live living moment. But that's just the way I do it, you know? And You know, have we ever given ourselves permission to put everything else into the garbage bin, into the compost pile, and find out, what does this sacred soul sound like? Not think like,
Yeah.
not teach like. Mm.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, me too,
I like
Carly.
that. I like that. How do you, yeah, your primordial sound, what is that?
Yeah, it would be great to find out, wouldn't it? Aren't we allowed to treat ourselves, having incarnated into a human trafficking situation?
Oh,
Aren't we
right.
allowed a little treat that we can give to ourselves?
I think that's the thing, is like, unless you really know that, you know, who that is at the core of you, how do you know what is not you? Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like you
yeah,
can't really
yeah.
do that without bringing that primordial expression of who you are into the equation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, we can, I'm sure, like, we can mostly recall from childhood a feeling of, I do it myself, I do it myself, I do it myself. The toddler. There's a parent trying to do something like, let me just help you feed, like the hands. I remember like my hands going like this, like, you know, or like someone trying to, you know, help a toddler walk, and they're like, or the toddler falls over and gets up. It's like the whole sacred cosmic vehicle wants to do it itself. It's like, get your hands off, get your thoughts off. You know, it's like we want to find out for ourselves,
Yep.
want to do it ourselves.
I do it myself. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Mm. Awesome.
Or one little tiny thing I wanted to add, Carleen, because we've only got to know each other, you know, recently. We spotted each other, and I really liked you. I think you liked me a bit. And then,
I loved you from the beginning. What are you talking about?
you know, ditto, ditto. But like, you know, this feeling of like trust, because in 2020, to me, the trust was completely broken down by characters that I don't know. It's like my trust has been really broken, thanks. It
Yeah.
already was, but so when we were coming together, it was like there was also this like nervousness, like, is there going to be someone I can trust? Is someone going to try and fucking lecture me about who to be on this planet? Because I simply won't be able to take this, you know? And what I wanted to say out loud was, what I gave myself permission for, self-allowing, 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 is I can bring my voice out even though the programming is trying to get a grip. It's okay. It's okay. Some programming is going to come out. It's okay. It's okay. The programming has to be heard as well, so it can neutralize
Dissipate.
itself and dissipate. Thank you. You know, because I know that people have said to me, you know, I'm worried about blah blah, that like my voice is going to be phony. The sound of my human voice will be phony, or I'll start to perform, and it's like, this is all welcome as well. This is all welcome. We're getting the tap flowing between us, all of us,
Absolutely.
individual taps that belong to our own selves and then no one else's. Right, I'm really going off on one. Sorry. Sorry,
No,
not sorry.
I agree. I no, I agree with you. I agree
Yeah.
with you. 100%. Yeah. 100%. Well, let's see what we can co-create together. Hey.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet other people, especially the ones that said they're definitely up for it and they wanted help. It was before we said this, like people were asking, look, have you got a support group going on for anything in this era for sovereignty?
Yeah.
So this is brilliant. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited
me
to
too.
hear other people. I'm excited to hear what they've been through, what they want.
Yeah. Because if we don't, that's the other thing. It's like how many times do we actually ask other people what has been your experience? Don't filter anything. Just tell me. Like, how has it been for you? How has your life been? You know, we don't very often enable that kind of depth of conversation, do we?
No. I'd like to doula that more, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I'd love to doula that more. Like, just tell me straight. You know, what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, sweetheart, is there anything else that we need to cover?
I think
So
that
how are
was
people, so there's no booking thing, is there, for the thing, this group, this thing?
this thing. No, because I don't understand about things like how to run businesses and be a corporation and book things. And I'm just here as me. I don't know. How should we do this, Carly?
Well, we were talking about like I said, I'll put a Zoom link, people
Yeah.
can join. If you feel
Hmm.
to support the space, then they can go to your webpage, can't they? With the heart, don't they? How do you label it?
Oh,
Tell me
yeah.
in your speak.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, so yeah, so let me just recap what I'm understanding so far. We're definitely going to be offering this space starting on March the 10th. It will always be on a Sunday at UK hours, 6 p.m. You're going to provide a link. People can show up as and when they want to. We're going to be there anyway.
So we're going to be there weekly.
We're going to be there weekly, yeah. Do we feel it's going to be a couple of hours? Just under or an hour or
Yeah, because I reckon it'll be a couple of hours. I mean, I can leave you to hold the space if people want to stay for longer, but obviously I have a radio show on Sundays generally.
yeah.
So I will need to exit the room by 8.
Yeah, gotcha. So it's going to be about 2 hours. And this is the point about organic life, as we set a co-created intention, and it will birth itself live and living as it's supposed to be. That's how I feel things. So we have said if people want to show up and they would like to contribute Monopoly tokens via PayPal, there is opportunity to do that at the bottom of my website. And there's a button at the bottom, like a little circle, where it says contribute via heart currency. So because I know, like many others on this planet, there is this huge diversity between people's financial situations right now because of what they did to us in 2020. If you have no breadcrumbs whatsoever, you don't put yourself into a terrible situation. We're already in terrible situations. If you have plenty of the Monopoly tokens and you would like to help this sort of thing blossom further, please feel free. So it's a kind of contribute as you're able, contribute what you desire, contribute what is real in the live living moment to you.
And then we can co-create what we do with the funds, right?
Absolutely. Yes, it's not going into someone's pocket to do whatever, pay shareholders or whatever. But but the worst thing is, I mean, like, let's be real about this. Has anyone actually got a career or a job or a livelihood left since 2020? Because I certainly haven't. And that's not me being a victim. That's me just telling the truth of what's going on.
Yeah.
Orchestras all around the world being trashed. Anyone that speaks truth is dismissed. Anyone that hasn't done that and that is not welcome on this planet to create as an artist, whatever that is. Right, I've had a real big rant today. I'm in that.
Well, thanks for coming in and ranting with me. Yeah.
Thanks for listening,
It's
Carly.
been
Yeah.
it's been a lot. It's been how was it been a
It's
week
ongoing. It's ongoing. Yeah. Yeah.
since the last really yeah. So it's been that length of time. So
Yeah.
And it's been incredible, actually. I think that for both of us,
Yeah.
it's been absolutely incredible with
Yeah.
the amount of people that have been making contact and
Yeah.
sharing what
Yeah.
they're going through, you know.
Yeah.
So we just want to do more of that,
Yeah, because
more of
we're
that providing voice.
incarnated souls. Everyone deserves to bring their voice out, should they choose to, should they desire to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're a great listener, Karleen, as well. You know, you have this real ability to, you're not just sitting there listening. It's like you have a live, living, humongous, I don't even know how to put this into words. It's live, living. I know that every single thing that I am expressing is being received by you and honored and not judged. That is so precious. Thank you.
Oh,
Like, for
oh,
real.
thank you, love.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetheart. I don't know how to be anything else. I've tried it, you know. I've tried being other things and other people, and I fucked up massively in my life, but you know, we'll get to that at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? How could anyone not be quote unquote fucking up because we don't know what's going on?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there.
Let's do that. Let's leave it there.
And then, yes, anybody that does further want to reach out, if you want to join in with the group, you don't need to say you're coming, just turn up as you in the moment, whatever that is, and whoever you are, you're welcome. All right, take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Lovely
Oh,
to talk to you, sweetheart.
and you, Karleen, and looking forward to meeting more sovereign souls on planet Earth.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Karleen.
Welcome, sweetheart. You take
Thanks
care.
for everything. Bye, darling.
Bye.
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 Bye.